Hi friends, welcome back to Librophiliac Knits. I am your host Kat, and I am sitting next to the new elephant in the room. You know, sometimes those of us with an obsessive personality have a tendency to go a little overboard. So we're going to talk about that today, among other things. What's my usual intro? Hello, welcome to my particular corner of the internet where it's real weird. You can't see it. Look at the lovely sunshine. Oh, I'm so bright if I look away from the camera. It is a beautiful sunny day in St. Paul, Minnesota. The weather is doing its usual thing where it is the most confusing. It was so cold last week that they canceled school. So cold. And now 40 degrees, maybe even 50. It's like balmy. You know, for those of us that live in the frozen tundra, this is all the snow is melting. So now it just looks like gray February again, which is my least favorite part of winter. I can handle cold. I can handle cloudy. I cannot handle miserable and muddy. But it's warm out, so whatever. So what am I going to talk to you about today? I have decided that sometimes I do not have to wear my knitting. I'm not advertising for anybody knitwear design wise, so I might as well advertise for other people who I want to support. And this is my Black Garnet Books sweatshirt. This bookstore on University Avenue in St. Paul, which, you know, totally has an online presence, I will link to them below, is BIPOC owned and operated, and everything in the store is written by people of color. And I love that so much. Feel free to unsubscribe if you do not ascribe to these feelings. I am not here for you. I'm here for me. And as such, I would like you to know that I'm a liberal weirdo and I really support everybody that I love, which is pretty much all humans. And I have a problem with people who do not support all humans in their own truth. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I only currently have one finished object to show you because I finished 3 things, but my child has stolen 2 of them and they will probably never come back from school. In a single day, you may have seen it. I made a little short about it. I crocheted a pair of mittens for my 6-year-old who constantly loses his gloves and mittens at school. I have no idea if they're all there and he just never brings them home, or if they are lost, and somebody else has them at their house, because I never see them again. I may have mentioned earlier last year when I had to drop him off after an appointment for something, I got permission to go upstairs and raid his locker, and I came out with a second winter coat and like 10 hats and scarves and mittens and gloves and a missing lunchbox. I mean, it was just like he's stockpiling them at school and we never see them again. So I made socks. Dun, 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 dun. You may remember this goofy ball of yarn right here is something that I got secondhand from the Textile Center garage sale, I believe. I was really excited about it. I assume it's Patton's Croy. It has that look about it. I tried to Google image search. I could not find anything that looked like this. So I don't know what it is, and I don't care. It's sock yarn. You can tell from the feel of it. Then I needed something to finish the pattern off with, and I went with sparkly bright orange. See the twinkles? See the twinkles? It's so twinkly. So this, I mean, this orange to this orange, maybe they're not exactly the same. They're getting a little washed out with camera, but it doesn't matter. You know why? Because all of this gets lost in my shoe. So all you really see, these are like ankle height socks. That's kind of my preferred sock height. Although yesterday I was eyeing, there's like a whole subset of my roller derby peeps who wear the most ridiculous, like crew height socks with sayings on them, like sometimes swears and sometimes funny puns. And I was like, those are really cute. I wonder where I could get those. And I was like, wait a second, why don't I just make taller socks and then put words in them? I know how to do that. So we'll see if that happens. The pattern was Mina's Toe Up 2 at a Time socks. Mina Phillips of the Knitting Expat podcast has produced, yeah, that's the word I want, produced a number of sock patterns. And I have a bunch of them. I bought like a, you know, when there's like a set of things that are going to be really, oh, look at the sunshine. Okay. Didn't know that was going to happen. You know, when you buy a group of patterns that are going to be released to you over time, I did that with the Knitworthy 7 by Isolde Teague. And I've done that with a bunch of Stephen West's mystery knit-alongs where it's just one pattern and you're getting it in pieces. The only other time that I have done such a thing was when I bought Around the World in 7 Socks by Mina, and I have not yet knit a single one of those. So the time has come, my friends. As usual, my eyes are much bigger than my stomach. How would that phrase apply to knitting? How about my eyes are bigger than my hands? No, that still doesn't make sense. Anyway, my plots and schemes are bigger than my free time when it comes to the things that I want to make. So this actually, they only took me a month. So if I just keep on casting on socks, I mean, vanilla socks for me are practically mindless at this point. I have to double check the Fish Lips Kiss heel, which is the heel type I used here. It was recommended by Mina, and it was a pattern I already owned because you have to buy it separately for $1 whole. $1 United States dollar, yes. Then you get, it's like a 12-page pattern because she has so many things to say about how to fit your socks and how to measure your loved one's feet onto cardboard so that you can easily make them socks when they're not around. Yes, I have worn them. Here. Should we do a gratuitous foot shot? They fit. I was a little worried that I stopped early, but you know, negative ease is a thing in socks. So they're comfy. They're about as tall as I want them to be. Next time I think I might do like 4 or 5 more rows of this part. Just make them like half an inch taller, maybe an inch. I think that will feel even better. And then the other thing that I finished, which I cannot show you right now, maybe I will add a picture, is the Crown Shy Beanie by Isolde Teague. Maybe I should back up. This light is really bothering me. Is it bothering you? Here. I just wanted you to see my Loom friend, and also look how crowded I am. The great thing about, I probably shouldn't. The great thing about having an enormous room is that I can crowd it with crafts. Can you see how out of control this has gotten? Like, I don't have any space left. I underestimated exactly how much space this lovely loom would take up. But I'm not sorry. And as you can probably see, although I've got a book on top of it, I've been knitting or weaving. So that is my big thing to talk about here. Let's see. I'm gonna roll this bad boy down. Ooh. Oh, sorry. So acquisitions. before I get into works in progress. Would make sense. What have I acquired? Well, a whole loom. You can see that I've made enough fabric that I've gone over the breast beam here. Here's Django. Hi, can you sit down, please? Thanks. Oh, you're tangled in my yarn. I don't love that. Oh, hang on. Okay, where were we? We were petting the dog. We were talking about, for my first knitting project, I didn't listen. What else is new? The many books that came with this. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't even finish sentences. Regarding, this is a Seavers loom from Washington Island. Right? Seavers, Washington Island, Wisconsin. Yes. It is a direct tie-up for treadle, for shaft jack loom. And the woman who sold it to me also sent along like more stuff than anyone ever deserved. Hi, Susan. I'm going to send this to you. Thank you so much. I am so in love with this critter right here. Yeah, not you. I mean, I do love you too, but no. Shh. She sent me along with 3 reeds, like 10 different stick shuttles. Those, I don't even remember what they're called, but the things that expanders, if they have like teeth on either end and you can put them in the weaving to keep them the same width that they're supposed to be, at least 3 books, and then like a box full of yarn, and then other fancy kinds of shuttles, like rug shuttles and a ski shuttle, and just so much. Oh, and the bench I was sitting on, it's a little wiggly, but whatever, that's not a problem. One of the books that she sent me was something that I had read from the library and was really excited. I was like hunting it on the internet because I don't know if it's currently in print, but I really wanted it. And she had it, and I was so excited. I did like a little dance, and then she laughed at me, and it was great. I am using the yarn that she sent along with me. It is cotton. And then, again, I called myself out. I have a little bit of an obsessive personality. So I originally was hoping to try out boat shuttles. So I have been stalking the internet looking for boat shuttles, and I found one on eBay for $20, which is headed this way. But in the meantime, for a different $20, I got can you see him? Can you see? End fed shuttle, and I've already forgotten what they're called, but I can put a little the string that has come with them, yarn, thread, I don't know, it's probably gonna have to come off, but this is a different version than boat shuttle. Boat shuttles have a bobbin that spins, and I guess, why am I standing out of frame? So you can look at this. Wow! I haven't gotten to try this yet, but this blue, I want it to come off because that thread is like got a ton of broken ends and whatever. It's almost the same color, but I want to try weaving. I just ran out of the blue and I need more. So I was like, I'm going to try weaving with this, but I haven't gotten there yet. But these are an end delivery system, and I guess that is supposed to work a little bit differently in terms of how evenly the tension is. So I guess with the bobbin, the fuller it is, it comes off of the shuttle differently, whereas these, the yarn is wound out. The yarn is wound on like a cone, so then it comes off more evenly, allegedly. Also, it's enormous. I'm scared it's too big, but it was $20 and a short drive out of town because it turned out to be a local seller. So that was really cool. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Excuse. I know with my microphone, you can hear this a little bit better than you would like me swallowing. So here, for example, these are the yarns that I'm currently using that Susan gave me. She even was keeping really good track of how much of it she was using. And I don't know entirely how to do that. So I've probably messed everything up in terms of tracking the things that I've been using. But like this, I think she made herself. Just says aqua green, 100% cotton warp. And then it was 800, and now it's down to 660, except now it's down to even less because I've got it on my shuttle right here. But here, do you need to get up on the chair or something, Django? Do you want to sit up here while I talk to the nice people? You're like very confused. Why am I talking to myself? Great question. Because it's a thing I enjoy. Oops. Okay, I'm going to come back up on the bench. So I'm a little closer to the camera so I can show you what I have been working on. Are you still doing that drinking game about when I'm off frame? It's getting worse. Okay, anyway. So I was writing things down. Mittens, socks, crown shade beanie. Those are the finished objects for 2025 that I had not discussed previously. I have no notes about any of them. The mittens, when you finally see them, you can laugh at me because they are sisters, not twins, almost to the point of being cousins, not twins. I tried to make the second one by trying it on the child, and it looks more anatomically correct. But then when I asked him the next day, he said the other ones that don't look like they would fit were more comfortable. But whatever, he wore them to school and he didn't bring them back. So he brought them back once, and then he took them back to school, and then they have stayed there ever since. And who knows if they're lost forever or what. Works in progress. I've got my list of things here in my journal. Did you know I keep a journal? Have I ever mentioned to you that I'm also journal and pen obsessed? Yes, I am. I just got, oh my gosh. Speaking of acquisitions, I just got 3 new journals in the mail. I am not going to bring them over and show them to you because I put them in a fancy thing that is kind of hard to open. So whatever. Anyway, I bought journals. It was like one of the few times I've ever participated in something for Black Friday, but they were so on sale and they are so expensive normally that I purchased stuff. Look at this. Wax and I went to a fancy art fair a couple of years ago, and I got this Winona Body Lab hand cream, lavender. Woo! And then I forgot all about it. So present to me. It's always the backs of my hands that are the driest right away. Okay. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. It's super intense lavender. So if that is not your bag, I'm sorry. Works in progress. My AVB sweater has not appreciably grown since the last time you saw it. I tried to take it to work, and as expected, it was a little bit much for me. I think at some point I messed up. I'm going to keep going if I can figure out my mess up. I think part of the problem is that, like, okay, remember I talked about this is cable knit, and it has different sections. So like this is cable C, and this is cable B, and this is cable A. Sometimes after the end of cable B, there will be just 2 random purl stitches by themselves. And I didn't add an extra. It's not all the time. So it's not always at the end of cable B there's an extra 2, because then it would just be part of cable B, which would make more sense to me. But sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not. And I should have added like another color of stitch marker or something to indicate when that happens. Because I think one time I was on autopilot and I added two purl stitches when there shouldn't have been any. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. It's pretty minor in the grand scheme. These cables are gorgeous. I am shocked and so pleased to discover that they are working. Here is a spot I think I might have messed up. This is like so, there was a cable right there, and then this is so long with nothing. Have I messed it up? I don't know. We'll find out later. So that's the AVB sweater. It's swimming right along. Very pleased with it. And then I think I'm going to try something else for Sophia. These socks are enormous. Enormous. Look at, like, I know this is, I could bind this off right now as a baby hat. It would be a little bit pointy at the top, but they're huge. No. These are paddle feet. I might have to give these to my son. I can keep making them and give them to my enormous footed child or one of his buddies. Sophia is going to have to wait a little longer because I am unsatisfied with my attempted gift. I'm sorry. It's not right. Then, where did I? Oh, there it is. I'm going off screen again. I always think that I've got all of my supplies within reach, and then not so much. I did do a couple more rows of my Ghost Horses sweater. Like 2, not like an appreciable amount, but anything is better than nothing. I now have horses' heads and some of their tails. Do you see? No, you can't really see. That's okay. We've gotten into the yellow of my hand spun, which is really fun. It's like goldenrod color, so orangey yellow and great, which is an interesting place to be. Is the backup to the horses. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this. I'm also really enjoying finally picking back up because it was giving me like guilt. I don't need any guilt from my projects. Like, why don't you work on that more? Because I'm busy doing other stuff, that's why. And this is in my, what's it called? Hide and Hammer. My Hide and Hammer bag. This is the most I've ever spent on a project bag because it was more than $100, I think. And it's real fancy and I really like it. And I have absolutely no plans to ever spend that much money on a project bag ever again. No way. But the cool thing about it is that it can be enormous. It's got leather. It's got these cool snappies so you can like snap it to the outside of the strap of your bag. So good for travel. And then it's a roll top. Whee! And then this sort of fun mechanism, it's just a strap and another strap. And then you just plug this little metal guy through the hole. And now it's all contained. And when it's open, you can like roll it so that it's like a bucket. I could have done that and showed you, but whatever. And then, here's the sock project bag. And the next yarn I decided I will cast on. Once again, I don't have a whole skein. It's used. I love it. It's so bright and loud and fun. Kind of matches my hair. Mm. Yeah. It's a whole vibe. I don't know which socks I'm going to make yet. I have been haunting the Ravelry sock pages like a ghost. All right. And then, this was not originally on my radar, but it was at the top of my queue. Well, as of having a conversation with Wax a couple of days ago. I was thinking about this yarn, this intense amount of hand spun that I spun last year, originally planning to participate in Andrea Mowry's Traveler knit-along. But once I finally washed and thwacked and calculated grist, I discovered that instead of making a sport weight 3-ply yarn, I had made a bulky weight 3-ply yarn. And that was significantly different in a way that made me uncomfortable. And so I decided to scrap this whole spinning project for that particular knit and just set it aside and hope for the best. And I've been thinking about it off and on, like, what do I want to make with that? What would even look good with this goofy homespun of mine? I don't know if you remember this, but this yarn was 2 plies of my hand processed wool. On this one, it looks like 1 ply is brown, 1 ply is gray, and 1 ply is white. But it was originally like 1 gray, 1 white, and 1 colorful. But I guess I had some brown at the end. Whatever. Here's the other one. Get a nice close up. So I had this really fun braid, well, series of braids in variations on like blue and teal and wow, it's got everything. Purple, kind of a chartreuse pea green situation, some mauves, plums. It's just all over the place. And I'm really excited to see how it knits up. So I've decided years ago, like during the original lockdown of the pandemic, 5 years ago almost now, I purchased the Reluctant Homeschooler pattern by Caitlin Hunter, Boyland Knitworks, and I bought a bunch of green, like hunter green knit picks in bulky weight, which was supposed to be the appropriate weight for this particular sweater. And then I used the recommended needle size and I started to knit pockets and I hated the fabric. And rather than just keep going down until I found a fabric I liked, I gave up. I did something else. I don't even remember what. This time, you know, in my further knitting career, I've begun to realize, especially with handspun, that, well, this is going to be all over the place width-wise. I don't know if you just noticed when I was holding it up for you, but I wonder if I should have better posture and stop hunching into the camera. Hi, how are you? That better? Great. It doesn't bother me as much, but I am doing, per Caitlin Hunter's directions, pockets as my gauge swatches because they have big patch pockets on the sweater. I will insert a photo. I already did insert a photo. I always say I'm going to insert a photo like 10 minutes after I start talking about something, and then it's so awkward in editing trying to figure out where do I put the picture. That was dumb, but whatever, guys. Just be along for the ride. It's fine. So I have, from 2 different balls, 2 different needles with the 2 different needle sizes. This is an 11, a US size 11, which is a 8mm needle, and it looks a little too big to me, the fabric. Here, I wonder if we can, there. I have a feeling it'll just be a little too airy. This is the next size down, a US 10.5, which is a 6.5mm needle. That is a significant change. I do have a 7mm pair of tips for my interchangeable needles, so I could technically swatch for something that is just 1mm less, but I have a feeling that I'm going to like this better. And 10.5 is it's still a nice size. Hang on, let's do this. Can I get that? Did the sun just go behind a cloud so that I can't get that same level of, like, how see-through is it? You see through it? You could a second ago. Anyway, I think I like this fabric better. It might just be the yarn is fatter. The problem with using two different skeins is that I think this one's a little chubbier at this point in the spin than this guy. But I'm going to keep going with both of them. And I think I'm going to leave them as is, because even if this one's off, it's just a pocket. So who cares? And, you know, then it's realistic. Yeah. So I have suddenly cast this on out of the blue because I always need to have like a big stockinette project. I'm obsessed. And I have so many things in my queue and so much yarn. But like, this is precious hand spun, and I don't want it to just languish in a drawer, which is where it was forever and ever. Amen. I want it to be out in the world. And it's so pretty. And it's a little scratchy, so better that it's outerwear. A little scratchy, but I don't care. And then my child woke me up at like 4 a.m. last night. So I was obsessively looking at the television, the tiny television in my hand called a telephone, cellular telephone. Crackle, crackle. That's not what that noise sounds like. That's not the onomatopoeia for that sound. And I was looking at my Ravelry queue, and I was looking at like what's new and hot, and also my Crochet Jones is in existence. I'm speaking of giving myself some guilt that is totally unnecessary. What is this arm situation that's happening? I don't know. Okay. I made that sloth hat, you remember, for my niece? Well, that niece has a sibling, and the sibling also needs a gift. And so I have been procrastinating a little bit, and I don't know why, because the same pattern designer, that's going to fall. I want to talk about that. The same pattern designer that made the sloth hat also made a giraffe hat, and the sibling is obsessed with the giraffes. She's also a niece. I can say niece. I'm not allowed to identify them in any other way because that is their parents' wishes, and I'm totally fine with that. The niece loves giraffes the way her sister loves sloths. And so, I'm going off screen again. Do you see my mess over there? I don't care. Yeah, it's getting really bad because I am suddenly a little crunched for space. There is a table in the middle of the room. It used to be in the corner, and now it should not even be in here, and I don't know where to put it. I digress. Wax gave me yarn. Yay! Hi, Wax. I love you. This lovely acrylic, Bernat satin, was slated for donation, and the rest of it can still be donated. I don't have any plans for it, although this ridiculous color scheme would actually probably be really fun for granny squares. So we'll see. The giraffe, it has to happen because my niece's mother is keeping the sloth hat until her sister also has a gift, because it's unfair. I'm like, okay, fine. I better get on it. And then I'm not doing it. And then, like, I have no reason. There's no excuse. I am a bad auntie. Bad auntie. No donut. To quote The Simpsons. Is that even a Simpsons quote? I don't even know anymore. It doesn't matter. Okay. Wax apparently got this at Goodwill for $2 a ball. Probably even less than that, because she knows how to work a sale. She was not thrilled with this particular type of yarn, and so she was happy to get rid of it. But then I remembered, I don't have any orange, and I needed some. And she was like, hey, guess what? I've also got these colors that are very, very much in the scheme of So anyway, that is my planned cast on. And there's one last thing I was going to tell you guys about. Well, before I go completely off the rails in the land of making and talk about books. Here we are. Where do I want to stick this? not where that goes. Whatever. Do you remember I told you guys about my mom finding a sweater that was in pieces that I could potentially finish? So my mommy found a sweater and I decided I wanted it. Originally she was like, you could just like use the sleeves for something. It's so cool. Something. I don't know. She was excited. And I was also sort of excited. And initially I only took part of it. And then I was like, you know, I bet I could do something with that. Let me try. And so I was having a better look at this. So look, there are two completely finished sleeves. There is a slight bit of damage here. Fixable. Okay. Does this guy have? This guy's got a little damage right here. I think this sweater might have been partially intact and then was taken apart or something. I'm fairly sure this is acrylic, so, you know, if none of this works out, it's no skin off anybody's nose, really. Then this piece, which is much shorter, look at this cable pattern. Isn't it fun? And what I'm thinking is, this is going to be a cropped sweater. It's so cute, like all the way right to like here. And then the sleeves can attach already. I wonder if I put it over the sweatshirt, what it'll do. This is not the side that's all beat up, is it? I don't think so. Okay. It's going to look funny because I'm not going to wear it under something this thick, but it gives you the right idea. Oh! Ow. Oh. Are you okay? I'm sorry. The dog is bashing his tail. He's okay. That's good. So, what needs to be done? From here, I need to build this bit. I think that will make the most sense. And then the back is taller. It was even taller than this. I started unraveling it after I got home from an outing. So this side, I think, is the back. I might unravel it to the bottom of these cables here and then do shoulder shaping and back down. Because then I will be able to use whatever extra I unravel to make this bit. Because I have, off the screen again I go. There's this, and then there's all of these. These are the things I have unraveled thus far. As you can see, there were breaks in the yarn. With just a little bit of ingenuity, I can turn this back into a whole sweater. A cute one that maybe I will wear. Or I can give it away. Whatever. It could be donated to something. No, I'm just going to wear it. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I got a better look at it and I'm slightly less terrified of it. That's what I'm saying. I have done absolutely nothing with Eileen's sweater. In case I haven't mentioned that lately. Okay. Last but not least, I have been participating in the Tropes and Trifles bingo, and I've been reading this book called In the Footsteps of Sheep, which will not, I think, count for anything on the bingo card, but that's okay. Tropes and Trifles is a romance-only bookstore in the neighborhood, and some of the bingo items are things like plus-size main character, because you like the cover, local to you author, book you chose based on a shelf talker or staff pick, book with a punny title, main character is a woman in STEM, published in 2025, etc. You can get a copy of this off their website. I will link to that also below. In the Footsteps of Sheep is this super fun book I found at the library. This woman is traveling around Scotland and everywhere she goes, she's camping, she's collecting little bits of different kinds of sheep breeds, and she is spinning in vivo as she walks around and then knitting socks. There is no, I think, hang on, I think this is the one picture of the socks that she made from all of her travels, from all the different Scottish sheep breeds. And that, my friends, is where I have to let you go because I have to go get my child off the bus. So thanks so much for watching, and like and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing, and come back and see me again. And it's so good to see you. Bye.